And welcome to the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network for some Monday Night Baseball. The Tampa Spartans take on Minnesota Crookston, the Golden Eagles, and Tampa facing off to begin a brand new week. I'm Taylor Sorley alongside.
I'm Rajvi Bhatta. How's everyone doing?
Doing pretty good as Tampa continues a pretty dominant winning streak that they've carried throughout their last 7 games. Since they lost Game 2 of the series against Quincy, Tampa has been able to lock in and stay in the win column, something they're hoping will continue today with Robert Satin taking the mound. The 6'3 sophomore makes his Spartan starting debut. He has had 6 innings so far this season in 3 appearances from the bullpen. He has struck 9 in that span and will be hoping for a good day today. Here's the Golden Eagles starting lineup. Leading off, they've got Dylan Debelson, the two-way freshman from Parker's Prairie. Right behind him is Sawyer Satrum, the infield senior from Portland, North Dakota. Satrum from Portland, North Dakota. Batting in third, they've got Josh Dykoff, the designated hitter. And in batting in fourth, they've got Kobe Sen. Batting in fifth, they've got Americo Scalati. And batting in sixth, they have got Aaron Wensloff. Batting in seventh, they've got Hunter Bushbaum. Batting in eighth, they've got Brock Larson. And batting in ninth, they have got Caden Capps. But it'll be Debelson leading us off to start the first inning. He is the team's leading player on offense this season with a .433 average, 500 on base percentage, and .533 slugging percentage in 8 games. Ball 1, Satin missing down low.
Taylor, what do you think your mindset should be coming into the game, especially since you're playing the number 1 ranked team in D2? I mean, they did beat Ashland University 12-4 Saturday, I want to say. But despite that, Spartans are still number 1. What do you think?
It will be a tricky matchup for Minnesota Crookston, but I think they just have to treat it like it was any other game. And even though they know it'll be a hard matchup, they can't get demoralized by an opponent like Tampa as the count goes 2-1. Satin finally finding the zone. Satin last season had a 4.0 ERA with the Florida Gators with 8 strikeouts over 9 innings. He's already had more so far with the Spartans. This won't be a strikeout to start the game, and hustled by Debelson beats the throw.
That's a good way to start the game.
Russo goes down after the play. I think he dived forward to make the catch. The good news is Russo looks all right. Great hustle on the infield hit. The downside for Satin was that he was a couple of steps behind the baseball, was going to be too slow to keep up with the play. Here comes Satrum.
I think getting your first batter on the first base in the first inning, hey, that's a boost of confidence. It's a good start to the game.
The bunt is going to be sent right to Satin, and the flip for out number 1. Good hustle by Sawyer. Almost beat the throw. The Golden Eagles have a runner in scoring position, and that's important to note because Tampa's had a 33-inning scoreless streak with 3 shutouts in a row. They're hoping to keep that streak alive today, but that is easier said than done.
I think that is also the school record.
I believe so as well. We were trying to look at our superlatives, I know, not too long ago, but you know, that was something that we had to really do some deep diving into the record books, into the statistics of the past. And I believe that is indeed the school record. 33 scoreless innings in a row. Satin trying to make it 34 with 1 away. And he gets ahead in the count. Swing and a miss. A big whiff by the 32. Josh Dykoff is also listed as a two-way player on the roster, a right-handed pitcher and a DH. He's hitting .344 this season, team leading .594 slugging percentage, as he'll take outside for ball 1. This Minnesota Crookston side has had some pretty good plate discipline this season, with a .424 on-base percentage. That is a better on-base percentage than Tampa at the moment, who carry .413. Both of those rates, however, very good for a baseball team when you can have a team average of getting on base 40% of the time. The pitching is where these teams are slightly different. The Golden Eagles enter with a 5.78 team ERA. Tampa a 2.49 team ERA. Ball 3.
The count goes full.
Great discipline from the 32. Sen is on deck. The payoff pitch with a runner at second. Hit on the ground and foul. Will go again. This is the first game of the week for the Spartans and begins what will be a lengthy road trip. This weekend, the Spartans will head to San Marcos, California for a 4-game series against Cal State San Marcos before headed back to Florida to face off against Palm Beach and Albany State. Ball 4, this will open up the double play opportunity. Dykoff draws the full count walk. The Spartans will be back home on March 21st for a weekend series against Embry-Riddle. Meanwhile, Minnesota Crookston are wrapping up their road trip. Like you mentioned, Raj, they were here in Tampa this weekend, facing off against Davenport and Ashland University as part of our weekend invitational.
Yeah.
They will be staying in Auburndale, Florida, when they take on Northwood on Thursday, and then they'll be back, or then they'll head to Davenport, Florida on Friday to take on Rockhurst, Winter Haven on Saturday, and Auburndale on Sunday, before returning back further north on a road trip. So, a
lot of games on the road, I guess.
It certainly is. But they also begin conference play next week. Not a huge surprise coming from Minnesota. Not as many home games to start the season with the cold weather. It's certainly a lot nicer in Tampa right now as the count goes 2-1. Satin missing down low.
Yeah, it's a good 73 degrees right now, and it's sunny outside as well. Beautiful day to have a baseball game. Or evening, I would say.
Low power, high on base percentage. That is Kobe Sen's play style as the count goes 2-2. Has a .488 on base this season. Second best for the qualified batters. Trailing only Dylan Debelson. And Sen is able to do this with only a .323 average compared to Debelson's .433. Sen would love a strikeout here against the righty. Almost gets the corner. 3-2. We'll introduce the Spartans' defense after this payoff pitch. Don't know if the runners will try to advance.
I mean, that's 2 full counts in a row now.
It is, and Sant would like to get on top of this one.
Yeah.
One more time. Up the middle. That's going to be picked up at second. There's one. No time for 2. Runners at the corners with 2 away. Smart fielder's choice from Woodburn to Urso. So good play on defense there.
I mean, he almost caught the ball though over there.
Yeah, it almost was picked up by Satin on the mound, but it fell down in the infield to Woodburn. And they were able to get one of the lead runners out, although the go-ahead run in Debelton is currently resting at third base. That's going to bring Americo Scalati to the plate.
Dykov was not happy with that call over there by the umpire. He thought he made it to second base.
You know what they say, though. You can't argue with City Hall. 0-1. Scalati so far this season hitting .306, .390, .528. But 2 home runs, only 6 RBI, though. As he's going to take inside for ball 1. Interesting to see what Tampa wants to do, whether they've got Satin trying to go the distance or maybe as a 3-4 inning opening type of role. Satin primarily played in the bullpen with the Florida Gators. Swing and a miss, 1-2. One of his best performances last year as a freshman was shutting down Texas A&M over 2 scoreless innings. He had 2 strikeouts and 3 walks. Effectively wild. Chopped foul. Still 2 strikes and 1 more for Satin to escape the jam.
Yeah, with runner in scoring position, I think he would like to escape the jam on this throw.
One more time. Satin to Scolati. Swing and a miss. Gets his first strikeout to retire the side. And while Crookston get 2 base runners, make it 34 scoreless innings in a row for your Spartans as we head to the bottom of the first. Bottom of the first. Welcome back to the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Taylor and Raj running the show today as we continue some Monday night baseball. Still sunny at the University of Tampa. That will change relatively soon. 6:12 p.m. Odenbach takes the mound, a lefty-on-lefty matchup. But Raj, the talk of the Spartans has certainly been about this man, Mr. number 19, Jordan Williams. What a start to the season for him, leading the way for most Spartan batting categories, but a whopping 26 steals on the season, too.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going for the school record this season, which is 58, if I'm not wrong.
It's around the mid-50s, I believe.
Yeah.
But it's safe to say that Williams is on very good pace to add himself to the record book. 0-2 now as that's fouled away.
The record is 52, actually. We just got confirmation for that.
Yep, 52. And he's already halfway there. He'll try to get on base here against Odenbach to keep the chase for the record alive. Odenbach with a 3.38 ERA this season. It'll be a race to first base. Williams gets on board. It's dropped. Wensloff couldn't scoop it cleanly. And Tampa gets a leadoff base runner. And keep an eye on the base paths as Villegas steps up to the plate. Let's give you the Spartans lineup real quick. Williams led off. Villegas now at the plate. J.D. Urso on deck with Braden Woodburn right behind. Cole Russo bats in fifth with Irigoyen in sixth. Carstetter in seventh. Stella in eighth. And Maddox King in ninth. So this is kind of shaping up to be the Spartans' designated kind of go-to order throughout the year. Stella's recent successes have put him in the starting lineup more often. Maddox King kind of interchangeable with Lenny Ashby in the outfield. But King very good at defense and getting on board and speed as well. So that's a reason that Tampa doesn't mind to have him starting out, as there's another pickoff throw.
I think the Golden Eagles have done their research about Williams stealing bases.
I'm not sure if the pickoff limit exists in D2 like it does in MLB, but if so, Odenbach will have used his last two pickoffs. Doesn't matter. Williams is headed to second. Villegas is headed to first. That's a hit by pitch. So not the best way to get aboard, but it is a way to get on board. Villegas has his fourth time getting plunked this season. It's the 25th for the Spartans as a team. Conversely, they have only hit batters on their opponent's teams 15 times.
Now it's the number 11, J.D. Urso at bat.
Coach Urso already has a number out in right field. Maybe J.D. will have the same one day. Spartan legend through and through. Had a good year at the University of Miami last year. But now he's back home to try to bring home another national title. It's got to be a little disappointing, though, for JD. The year that he was gone, Tampa got through Super Regional play, made it back to the national championships, and won. But this is an extremely strong Spartans team as Williams takes a bit of a lead. And I think he's trying to get in Odenbach's head as that's going to miss down low for ball 2. Odenbach, already mentioned, has a 3.38 ERA this season over 2 starts, 10 strikeouts, and 3 walks in that span. He projects to be their number 3 starter, but gets the outing here on Monday. Wonder if Odenbach might solidify himself as a Friday or Saturday arm as the season progresses. Tampa's rotation is, I think, relatively set in stone. We've got Gonzalez, Williams, and Stipp. And that is a very reliable trio. Gonzalez, Mr. Invincible, the Invincible Ace, garnering a ton of nicknames that I'm just inventing on the spot as the count goes 3-1.
I thought that was low, but
Close call there. Samuel Birch and John Bennett are umpires, by the way. But
hey, they have a better view than us.
Exactly. Yeah, Tampa's rotation always extremely solid. And so far, Odenbach has been as well. He steps off again. And I think he's going to call a balk there, potentially. Or will that be an automatic ball 4? So Birch and Bennett are going to talk, but the question is if Odenbach began his movement a little late. No, looks like they're going to say he didn't. Home plate umpire saw something and Bennett said, no, I think he was all right.
Hey.
That'll keep us at 3-1. Williams and Villegas have stayed put, but maybe they do try double steal. Don't know if Tampa is worried about the arm of Larson behind home plate. Runners go, and it is bobbled by Larson, but that is also ball 4 called. So bad news for Williams and Villegas. They do not get another stolen base. The good news for the Spartans, the bases are loaded. And immediately we are seeing, I believe that is T.J. Hawkinson headed out to the mound. And I need to make sure this is mentioned. This is not T.J. Hawkinson of the Minnesota Vikings. It is Hawkinson spelled with Hokanson. It's the assistant coach, I believe, for the Golden Eagles, talking with the infield on the mound. Tampa's loaded the bases in the bottom of the first. And that's not the ideal start if you are Odenbach.
That's true. I mean, yeah, you do want to get strikeouts quick, but you've loaded the bases with no outs over here. Tampa in very good position to score and get ahead early in the game. But they will keep the same pitcher here. I mean, yeah, it's
no, they certainly wouldn't pull him after just 3 batters.
Yeah.
And there is no one warming up yet, but I think that was just more of a team refocus visit to the mound, as that'll bring Braden Woodburn up to the plate for the Spartans and the ever-dangerous Cole Russo on deck.
I think a break could also help him get his mind right. Lock in, as you said before.
Infield not playing super far in, as Woodburn takes down low for ball 1. But so far, Odenbach had a walk, a hit by pitch, and the error on the first play. Sotram's throw to first was dropped by Wenzloff before he could scoop it up. They had Williams out by half a step. There's a ball put into play, the first one of the last 2 at-bats.
And it goes foul.
Urso kept the bat on his shoulder on his 5-pitch walk, and Villegas was hit on the first non-pickoff offering from Odenbach. Williams did have a couple foul balls before sending it down to the hot corner. Did Woodburn go? No, he did not. Birch wanted to double check, though, with Bennett. 2-1 here, and Woodburn's ahead in the count. Now, Woodburn might not be the most dominant power threat in the lineup, but he's one of the most consistent players for the Spartans, and boasts a 383 on base percentage so far. Up the middle, he'll bring home run. That could send 2. Villegas rounding third. Play at the plate, not in time. A 2 RBI single puts the Spartans up, and it's Braden Woodburn with a clutch base hit. Here comes Cole Russo.
That's definitely the start Spartans expected. And with Cole Russo, on deck now. I mean, at bat, and still 0 outs with 2 people on base. There's more opportunities to score in this inning for the Spartans. Get ahead by a mile.
A couple of leads, and he's come back. Hit down the line. That's another base hit through the hole. They're going to send a third runner home. There won't be enough time for the play at the plate. Russo doesn't waste any time with an RBI single. 3-0 Spartans lead. And that is going to bring up Irigoyen. Back-to-back hits for Tampa, and 3 runs have come home as the first 5 Spartan base runners have gotten aboard.
Let's see if we can get the third hit as well.
Irigoyen and Garavito have been battling for the starting catching spot so far, but the advantage has gone to Irigoyen as Garavito has had an uncharacteristically cold start to the season. But, Garavito will eventually get back on track, and Irigoyen has also been very good so far. 250, 349, 389 slash line. He also has a home run. He'll get ahead 1-0.
One and one as that ball goes foul.
Mm-hmm. Fouled away. Another foul ball. The count goes 1-2. Line drive over the shortstop, 4-0 Spartans lead. Russo stays at second, an RBI single for Irigoyen. 3 hits, 4 runs for Tampa. The offense on fire, and still no outs in the bottom of the first. Here comes Kevin Karstetter. And there is someone going down to the bullpen for the Golden Eagles.
Do you think the Spartans can make a full rotation over here?
Might be able to. Have to wait and see. Strike 1. And that's an important strike for Odenbach. As you definitely call this not the ideal start to the game.
And that goes foul.
0-2. An important first 2 strikes to get. Hit into right field. That'll either load the bases or send another home. Russo's being sent to the plate. The throw in will only keep the runners at the corners. You're going to third. Russo makes it home. 4 hits, 5 runs in a row for the Spartans. A dominant start to the ball game. And now they have to face Joe Stella, who started to heat up. 6 at-bats and 3 hits in the season. This gets him his second start of 2024.
As he takes it for ball 1.
Hit to short, second. They'll be the first out of the inning. Throw to first. They'll be the second out of the inning.
And one batter as well makes it home.
So it's a double play from Joe Stella, but in this situation, it's still a benefit for Tampa. 6-0 Spartans lead.
that was a much needed play for the Golden Eagles. Getting 2 outs there at a crucial time. As Williams is on deck again for the Spartans. But right now at bat is number 41, Maddox King. And he takes the first ball for ball 1.
Bases are empty for the first time since the first batter for King. See if he can try to get the offense going. He's getting on base at a .385 rate. That's going to miss, as that also bounces away from Larson. 2-0 now on the count to Maddox King.
That's going to make it 3-0 now.
On deck is Williams. Will Tampa have gone through the entire batting order here in the bottom of the first? Yes, they will. With 2 away, King is on base. So here we go. That'll bring Williams back to the plate for the Spartans. He got on board off the error last time. Ball 1 missing just outside. Fly ball from Williams. That's going way back, and that'll drop at the wall. Not going to be called a ground rule double. Williams will stay at second. 7-0 Spartans lead. Williams gets hit number 5 for Tampa and brings home a run in the process.
I think everyone in the Spartans lineup has made it home in this inning.
Yes, indeed they have. That is a huge start for the Spartans. Odenbach is close to getting out of the inning, but he'll have to get Villegas out to do so. Ball 1 missing up high to Villegas. I wonder if he would want a little bit of revenge after getting hit by a pitch in the previous inning.
On the other hand, he has Williams on the second base trying to get to the third one.
Wonder if Williams will try his first stolen base of the day. I mean, he did earlier, but that was a ball 4 count that saw him advance automatically.
Yeah, I think on that play, both for, second base and third base made a play for the next bases, and they both got it, but unfortunately it was called, fortunately I guess it was called a walk for the Spartans.
Ooh, that one almost hit Villegas inside, 2-1, and the left-hander is in the driver's seat for this at-bat. He's hitting .327, .448, .509 this season, has yet to have a home run, but leads the team with 8 doubles. So he's finding the gaps well and getting the ball to the outfield more often than not. He'll get ahead 3-1 as that misses inside. On deck is J.D. Urso. And, you'd imagine that with the righty, 2 righties coming up, that they might want to bring in that righty with sort of that sidearm, maybe 3/5 type of motion from the bullpen. Williams goes, strike. Williams safe as he slides and avoids the tag. That's number 27. So in the at-bat with the 27, Williams gets his 27th stolen base of 2025, and he is now 90 feet away with a full count to Villegas. Urso on deck. Payoff pitch. Roll on the ground, and that should end what has been an inning to forget for Minnesota Crookston. Tampa scores 7 to start the ballgame on 5 hits. Williams is stranded at third, but he already scored as the first base runner to make it home. Big Tampa lead. We're headed to the top of the second. And we're back at the top of the second on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. And the number one team in the nation living up to the hype. 7-0 lead as we now have a second chance on defense. And if Satin was feeling a little bit nervous in that first inning with a couple of base runners aboard, he definitely could be a lot more relaxed now, given that Tampa's given him 7 runs of support. By the way, C.J. Williams is the D2 pitcher of the week. That's great news for our usual Saturday Game 1 starter. He will be, I think, the Friday starter, I believe, on the road in California. Nope, one of the Saturday starters, because it's a Friday, doubleheader Saturday, and Monday series.
It's a long day. A long weekend.
A long weekend indeed. But early morning games for Tampa, 2 p.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Pacific, and 2 other 2 p.m. Pacific games. Good performance from Satin. Could see him join the rotation again next Monday. Or maybe Coach Urso will try a different arm. Last season, Urso was kind of shuffling the SP3, the Game 3 starters for a little while, until Stipp really started to find his form. He began as an opener, and then eventually was able to make his way as the full-time starter, and now he's going the distance more often than not.
Hard work gets there, I guess.
Ball 4. That was right on the edge of the plate, but the tie goes to the batter. And I think for Satin and the other starter, Odenbach, the strike zone has been very batter-friendly today.
Yeah.
And that can be tough when you're on the mound.
Now Golden Eagles have one person on first base again. Let's see if they try to bunt again. And he gets strike 1.
An important strike to get after a tough at-bat loss previously. Bushbaum now at the plate for Minnesota Crookston. He's hitting .316 this season as he'll get ahead 1-1 now. Bushbaum a little bit quieter on the on-base and slugging percentages than the rest of his teammates, but he does have a .316 batting average in the season, sort of working his way into the starting lineup. Ooh, a bit of a checked swing and miss there as the count goes 1-2. That fastball had a little extra zip behind it. Small lead from Wenzloff. Swing and a miss in the dirt. And with the runner at first, there's no chance that drop third strike would have him reach safely. 1 away. And another strikeout for Satin. Larson now at the plate for Minnesota Crookston. Didn't have any wild pitches conceded in the previous inning, but in the ball 4 and the double steal attempt, he did drop the ball before having a chance to throw the runners out. Oh. Well, that's when you call the commentator's curse. That one sailed over the head of Irigoyen. That puts Wenzloff in scoring position for Minnesota Crookston. A chance for the Golden Eagles to end the scoreless inning streak for the Spartans.
Yeah, you definitely jinxed that one, Taylor.
34 is the current tally with that first scoreless inning to start the game. That'll miss down low 2-0. With 1 away, it's not a bad idea to maybe give up the free pass here. You've got Caps on deck, who isn't as strong of a batter than most of the lineup. The lowest slugging percentage of any of the qualified batters. He could be a double play candidate as the count goes 2-1. Satin clips the outside corner.
Yeah, but Lawson's still in the driver's seat over here, ahead by 2-1.
That'll miss, make it 3-1.
Will this be the second walk of the inning?
Satin gets a swing and a miss. Larson was expecting a strike, and whether that was over the zone and he just missed or went down low and he did, be interesting to see. Payoff pitch coming up I don't think Wenzloff is going to be moving. Would be risky to try to steal third here. He also doesn't have any stolen bases this season. And that's strike 3. Got the outside corner. A bit of justice for Satin after he had a similar location on a miss in his previous at-bat. This time he clips the corner for out number 2. Third strikeout of the day for Satin, as that'll bring up Caps in the bottom of the order for Minnesota Crookston. Another righty for the left-hander to face. Oh, and 1. You know, Satin's a pretty intriguing arm for the Spartans as a sophomore and has previously played SEC baseball. We traded out one SEC arm for another with the departure of Alex Caney to Ole Miss. Caney had a pretty good 3-inning scoreless start in his Rebels debut. Flip to Satin. I think Russo would have had enough time, but elects to do the safe play of flipping it to Satin to make it a 1-2-3-4 batter inning. But the walk was all the Golden Eagles could muster. 35 scoreless innings in a row for Tampa. 7-0, Spartans lead. Taylor and Raj on the call. We've got Alex running the show on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. 7-0 Spartans lead. Tampa's offense back at the plate. It'll be Urso, Woodburn, Russo due up.
I think Spartans will want to run that inning back. See similar results.
Good news for Odenbeck. He stays on the mound, gets a chance at redemption. Only 4 of the runs were earned from the first inning. There was an error that started things off and just ultimately led to a chain reaction of unfortunate events. However, a comeback like this wouldn't be impossible. You can just ask our softball team. Not too long ago, Tampa entered the bottom of the 7th of a softball game, trailing 5-0. After one away, Tampa flipped the scoreline to win 6-5.
Yeah, I was there. Honestly, I did not think they were going to make that.
Me neither. They looked completely out of it, but that softball team is special because this weekend they also had a 3-run comeback in the bottom of the 7th, trailing 2-0. You know, every spring sport for Tampa is just on fire so far. Women's and men's lacrosse, 2 of the top teams in the nation. Softball, a top 10 team in the nation. Baseball has been unanimously the top 10 team in the nation for a while, although maybe Angelo State would be getting first place votes, the team that were runner-ups last year in the national tournament alongside us. Make it 6 hits now in the game for the Spartans, although I'm looking out at the scoreboard in center field. They had 45 hits listed for a second.
45?
Yeah. That would be a record, but Tampa's definitely not getting 45 hits in a game, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
That is something you'd only see in maybe a 50-inning baseball game, where you also see players getting aboard and then just not being able to score. Count's going to go 2-0, I think, here to Urso.
You can't count off the basketball team, which have both made the Sunshine State Conference playoffs.
Yes, indeed. I want to give you a quick look ahead for Spartans basketball later this week. Tampa takes on Lynn at the Bob Martinez Center. A win would keep them with home field advantage to the semifinals of the conference tournament. Jack Ike and Carlo DeVoe will be on the call. You won't want to miss it. That game starts at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Meanwhile, also on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network, but being covered by our friends over at Embry-Riddle, Tampa takes on the Argonauts. Or, no, the Eagles. I don't know why I was calling them the Argonauts, as Tampa is going to score their 8th run on a triple into the gap for Braden Woodburn. Slides, keeps his hand on the bag, an RBI triple, and make it an 8-0 Spartans lead. Braden Woodburn delivers the RBI. Here comes Cole Russo. Up to the plate for the Spartans. The Russo DNA bleeds Spartans red. Alexa Russo dominating with the softball team, and Cole Russo with an incredible start here with the baseball team this year. And that'll be it for Odenbach. He was able to start the second inning, wasn't able to finish it.
That's not the ideal start you'll want to any baseball game.
The good news for Odenbach, later this week he'll probably have another chance, as Minnesota Crookston have a ton of matchups coming up. Northwood, Rockhurst, Davidson Elkins, and Assumption University. And given that he's kind of solidified himself as an SP3, SP4 for the rotation, he'll have a chance either in Auburndale, Davenport, or Winter Haven to try again later.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their bad days. I think today is his.
Look at Alex Kane. He had a 5-run outing way back last season against Barry sometime. One of his only rough starts of the season.
Yeah, they always get back, though. That's the beauty of sports. You can always come back.
So, it'll be a new pitcher on the mound for Minnesota Crookston. We'll be right back with more action on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Return from break, we're good to go. Welcome back to the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Now on the mound for Minnesota Crookston is Max Weber. Weber has also had a start this season, and he'll be throwing strike one to Cole Russo to open his outing.
Now that's a start you want as a pitcher.
Good breaking ball in the outside corner. Here's the 0-1. Russo popped up. That is going to be deep left field and should bring home another run for Tampa.
That went high.
Yes, high and somewhat deep.
Yeah.
Russo, a sac fly RBI. One away and a 9-0 Spartans advantage. Base is empty for Irigoyen. Stella on deck. Stella is the only Spartan to not get on board today. Russo had an RBI single back in the first. And that'll be strike one. The slider opening the at-bat from Weber. Weber only had 2 appearances so far this season. This will be his third. And I imagine, given that he had a start before, he'll be playing as a bit of a long relief role. Try to go the distance. That's going to land off the golf cart in foul territory.
Hey, as long as it did not land on someone's head.
Good thing that it has a roof for our campus security. And a fan's going to send the baseball back to the Golden Eagles dugout.
I would have kept it, but that's just me.
Here comes the 0-2 to Irigoyen. just missed. I think that went a little bit low as the count goes 1-2. Here's Weber getting ready again. Oh, almost hits him inside. Fastball drifting a little far in. 2-2 now. Flared foul, still 2-2. Strike three. This time finds the sweeper inside. And that one froze Irigoyen. And it is the first strikeout of the game for Minnesota Crookston. 2 away. That'll bring Karstetter to the plate. 1-0, missing outside. Weber's been going to the slider for a majority of his offerings.
Hey, and it's working, so.
If it's your most comfortable pitch, why not throw it?
Yeah.
Karstetter drives it to center field. That's got just enough hang time to be caught, and Weber gets out of the inning. He strikes out a Spartan, gives up a sacrifice fly, but a very clean start from the bullpen as Tampa brings home 2 to lead 9-0.
This is the University of Tampa. UT students travel from across the nation and around the globe to join a dynamic learning community. There are 150 academic programs, continuing studies for non-traditional students, and a highly ranked graduate school. Nationally ranked NCAA Division II athletics program.
So here we go as we begin the top of the third on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Spartans and Golden Eagles. Minnesota Crookston wrapping up their time in Tampa after having a couple of games as part of the Invitational this weekend. We close things out with a fun Monday night matchup. A new school week as well at the University of Tampa. And that's going to be rolled to second. Woodburn's got enough time for out number 1. So Dembelson can't go 2 for 2, as that will bring up Satram to the plate. Yeah, it is, I think. That's going to miss inside for ball 1. Sawyer was able to get on board earlier with a, well, actually didn't get on board earlier, but had a sacrifice bunt to advance the runner. Keeps the bat on his shoulder as the count goes 1-1.
Yeah, that was straight down the middle.
I think Statton's feeling a bit more comfortable now. Didn't concede a walk in the second. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Swing and a miss down low. A fourth strikeout for Satin, and there's 2 away in the top of the third. And now that'll bring up the 32 of Dykhoff to the plate. Lefty on lefty matchup. The advantage goes to Satin for this one. And that's a swing and a miss. Strike 1 to start the at-bat.
Oh, that was wide for ball too.
That's when you'd call just a bit outside.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. One more strike and Satin's out of the inning. Don't know if it had touched the bat at all, but doesn't matter. Takes the 1-1 count to 1-2.
Either way, when you swing it and it's not in play, it's a strike.
Hit on the ground and foul. Good grab by Russo, but that'll do nothing except keep the at-bat where it is.
I think Russo wishes that was in play because that was an easy out for him.
All Satin would need to do is make the 45-foot run from the mound to first. At least I think it's about 45 feet. I'm taking a look at it. I probably need to double check with like the Pythagorean theorem or something like that. Payoff pitch.
You mean Pythagoras?
Strike 3. One of those theorems, but either way, this theory is that Satin is great at striking people out. 5 in the first 3 innings, and he holds the Golden Eagles scoreless once more. We're headed to the bottom of the third. Due up, Stella, King, and Williams.
In the late 1920s, the prospect of a Hillsborough High student enrolling in college was bleak. The nation was in the throes of the Great Depression. Businesses were failing, and many of Tampa's beautiful waterfront homes were left abandoned. The principal at Hillsborough High, Frederick Spalding, didn't see these barriers. He only saw bright young students who were in need of a place to continue their learning. In 1931, collegiate-level courses were offered at Hillsborough High. This would later become the University of Tampa. On August 2, 1933, Spalding arrived at the doors of Plant Hall with a 100-year lease from the city and a firm resolve, and with the turn of a key, opened the door to the University of Tampa. In its fledgling years, UT was fortunate if it could collect half of the tuition due from its students. It was only through the dedication of its professors, who worked without pay, that the university survived the Great Depression. Over the next several decades, UT grew slightly, enrolling up to 1,800 at times, starting several sports teams, and even began accepting students from other areas of the country. But in the early 90s, the growth seemed to stand still, even stop. UT needed new life, some passion. UT needed strong leadership.
In 1995,
Stella might have been a little disappointed with his first at-bat of the day, grounded into a double play. The saving grace is that it did bring home one of the runs Tampa has scored so far. He'll take ball 1 as that misses down low. Weber remains on the mound. This is a pretty active week for Spartan sports. Tampa will be taking on Flagler and Grand Valley State in tennis on what should be Wednesday and Friday. And then this weekend they've got some matchups for softball and beach volleyball.
Did that hit him?
And no. It was close though, 2-0 count. Tampa will be hosting Palm Beach in South Florida on this coming Friday. So that should be fun to see. And also it'll be West Liberty visiting Tampa for a Friday doubleheader, as that's going to be fouled away 2-1.
Hey, women's beach volleyball is the only D1 sport we have.
Pretty much. And we are one of the better small schools in the nation, winning a couple of those small school national titles for beach volleyball as well.
Definitely.
Here comes the 2-1. That'll miss down low, 3-1 for Joe Stella now. On deck after Stella is Maddox King. Tampa looking to have their players get a third time through the order. Williams will have his third at-bat of the game here, no matter what, even if there's 2 quick outs from Weber. But there won't be, at least not yet. Stella works the walk to get on board. 1 on for Maddox King. King gets a chance at the plate here for Tampa. The sophomore Definitely part of the long-term future for the Spartans. And, of course, the short-term future as well. Stella with a small lead. That almost hits King for ball 1. Tampa's been pretty active with the small ball this year. 48 stolen bases. Taking out Jordan Williams, that's still 22 stolen bases.
Oh, yeah, he has more than the entire team combined. Wow.
I'd say more than most D2 teams
Combined.
have as a unit this season. They have more than Minnesota Crookston, who've only stolen 8, and only 17 have been stolen against them this season. Technically count that as 18 now, with Williams getting his first of the day not too long ago. He is also on deck. Fouled away, 2-1.
This time Maddox King was going for the big hit.
Maybe looking to showcase some power. Maddox only 1 extra base hit this season. He worked a walk in his previous at-bat, 2-1. Almost gets hit, just avoids the front door breaking ball for ball 3. This could be the second walk of Weber's outing. Gets the sign he likes. Ball 4. And Maddox King is aboard. Tampa has drawn their 4th of the game. Top of the order for the Spartans. Williams, the switch hitter, now batting from the left side of the plate as he gets his first opponent against the righty, Weber. Williams is batting as a right-hander against the left-handed starter, Odenbach, to start the game. Here's the first pitch from Weber to Williams. Strike 1. That'll be on the outside corner.
Are you allowed to switch midway?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I think so. I think you might have to stay one side of the plate during an at-bat. You pick at the start of it. But, of course, I think Williams would certainly like to stay as a lefty here against the righty.
Yeah.
I
was just wondering.
I think what happens is if they bring in a new arm, you can exchange. So
Oh,
if
okay.
they brought in a left-handed player from the bullpen, currently the Golden Eagles have a righty warming up, then Williams could switch to being a left-handed batter or right-handed batter. And that's also a similar dilemma when you're facing a switch pitcher as well. Hit up the middle, this could be 2. Flip to second, throw to first, in the dirt. Good scoop by Wensloff, but Williams is safe. Dangerous potential double steal opportunity. Williams fast enough to beat the throw. Sen and Caps do get the out on the fielder's choice. Here comes Villegas. 1 away in the bottom of the 3rd. Righty on the mound, it'll be easier for Williams to get a strong jump. Estella at 3rd. It's also a tricky decision for the catcher. Throw to second won't go. He's going to let Williams take the steal. It's 28 on the season for Jordan. And now Stella at 3rd, Williams at 2nd. Villegas, a base hit, would probably score 2. He does, however, fall behind 0-1.
I love the Mario Kart music they play when there's a stolen base.
1-1. And the Mario Kart music has been playing a lot this season for the Spartans. I imagine it won't slow down. But I have to say, for a team with Tampa's strength on offense, it's impressive of how much of a small ball style they can play and still find success with. As the count goes 2-1. Because usually, small ball will be for the schools that don't have real power threats at the plate. They don't have incredible batters. They try to get crafty to manufacture runs however they can. Tampa has a wealth of talent. And they still execute that almost to perfection most of the time, as that is foul just by a foot.
I think that's what makes this team special, right? Even though they have great players, I want to say, they still focus on the little things.
And I think that is what makes Tampa truly special. They can beat you with the big home runs and then beat you with the bloopers and bunts. Ball 3 for Villegas. Urso on deck. And I'll tell you, if you're Weber, you're better off just sending it right down the middle to Villegas and having your outfielders ready. You don't want the bases loaded against J.D. Urso. Here comes the payoff pitch. The infield playing in, but not super far in. They would like to get Stella out at home if there's a ball hit on the ground, and Tampa sends both runners.
There's only one out on the board yet, though.
One more time, Villegas flares that into left. That's going to drop in fair territory. 11-0 Spartans lead. Villegas strolls into second. That time just landed in no man's land to bring home 2.
That ball was in the air for longer than it should have been.
It was not clean contact at all.
Yeah.
But it's not about how hard you hit it. It's about where you place it. And I don't think Villegas could have picked a better spot to put it. 8 hits now for Tampa. 11-0 lead. Dominant start for the Spartans here in the bottom of the third. Tampa haven't had as many 10-run games as they did last year. They had a 10-2 victory against Georgia College, 15-4 victory against Montevallo, and 14-8 victory against Lynn. Last year, Tampa had a couple of double-digit games to start the season on their 15-game winning streak. This is now the 4th time Tampa's reached double-digit runs.
Oh, it's going to hurt him.
Yes, that'll put Urso aboard, first and second with 1 away. There is a player in the Golden Eagles bullpen in case they want to make a change. He's been tossing for a little. But given that they haven't had a conference so far for Weber, they're keeping him in the game.
Definitely, yeah.
Also, with this stage of the game, there's no reason to pull him at the moment.
Yeah.
You want to give him a chance to work out of the inning, and also, again, a game like this for both teams is a good chance to maybe get some freshmen and younger players some chances on the field. As there's a great throw from center field, but Villegas will stay for out number 2. And also a cool thing as well is we'll definitely see some changes for the Spartans coming up when they roll to their 4th time through the order. Coach Urso definitely want to try some new players.
I mean, when you're in such a good position in the game, it's always a good idea to let the new players get at bat and see what they're about, right?
Maybe help some veteran players try to break out of some slumps.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
I know Garavito will probably get a chance as well. Throughout his time with the Spartans, he has been an incredibly strong hitter. One of the most clutch players as well for U Tampa as the count goes 1-0 to Cole Russo. But Russo has been defined by the clutch gene this season. Only 8 RBIs, but whenever he's in that position, he delivers.
Hey, it's both the Russos, I guess. It runs in the family.
That ball's going to get away from the catcher. Villegas and Urso advance. Make it a 2-0 count now, with runners at second and third.
Yeah, but there's 2 outs. So, number 15, Max Weber, does have a chance to get out of this pickle.
Would be great for him and Minnesota Crookston to keep the damage to 2. 2-1. Big swing and a miss. Elevated changeup, got a whiff from Russo. Russo singled to start the game, sac fly in the second. He's up again in the third. 2-1 count to Russo. Hit on the ground at first. Picked up by Winslow, and that'll end the inning. Tampa brings home 2 runs on the blue pit by Villegas, but 2 runners are stranded for the Spartans as Weber keeps the damage to 2. Big lead for the Spartans. We're headed to the top of the 4th.
Athletic Center includes a large gymnasium.
We are in the top of the fourth at the University of Tampa, at its very own baseball field. Surely it'll eventually be named after Coach Joe or so in the future. But for now, I'm pretty sure it's just called the baseball field. I don't think there's any special name on top of that as the count goes 1-0.
No, I was trying to look for the name, and I was like, I'm surprised it's not called anything, and it was just Tampa baseball field. I was like, okay, there you go. Something, I guess.
That's going to hit inside as well, 1-1. It's Ryan Stefuk on the mound now for the Spartans. He's entered the game to relieve Satin, who ends his day with 1 hit, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts over 3 scoreless innings. So a solid first start for Satin's Spartans career as Stefuk coaxes a line drive for out number 1. So, bad news though for Satin. Only 3 innings on the mound. He's not in line for the win. As a starter, you got to go 4 innings to be eligible. So instead, it's actually Stefuk. Should he hold on to the tightly contested Spartans lead, he would take the W. Looking to hold on to the advantage here. And it'll go 0-1 in this new at-bat against Scolati. Americo, having his second try at the plate today, had a strikeout in his first at-bat against Satin.
Let's see if Stefuk can keep it scoreless for the Golden Eagles and continue the Spartans 35 or 36
scoreless inning streak.
Yeah.
It started a couple weeks ago, and Tampa has been keeping opponents quiet since then. Swing and a miss, and that'll be out number 2. Although I will tell you, Raj, if you ask any of the players, they're probably more focused on getting the W than keeping the streak alive.
Definitely.
And at the moment, that looks pretty good for the Spartans as well.
Yeah.
Although I know there was also one game earlier this weekend across, I think it was either D2 or D3, or it was like last weekend or something. But it was like 14-3 at one point, and it ended like 25-16 or something. Wow. And the team that was down 14-3 made the comeback happen.
Oh.
Hit by a pitch, Wenslow's going to get aboard. So yeah, it was a very interesting thing. I'd have to remember where I saw it. I'm not sure if I liked it to scroll back to find it, but you know, football score is basically back and forth in those games as the count goes from 0-0 to 0-0 as Wenslow is a base runner.
You can never count a team out. However, you're always Spartans are in a good position and they recognize that, and I think they would want to stay on top of it for the rest of the game.
Strike 1 from Stefuk. It's now Bushbaum at the plate.
And that should be even more reason for the Golden Eagles to make a comeback here.
By the way, it was the first time Wenslow has gotten hit this season via pitch. In the dirt, good block by Irigoyen, 1-1. Wonder if you'll see Garavito behind home plate eventually later today for the Spartans as well. I know Irigoyen has been, I think, a little bit stronger on defense so far in terms of the blocking and throwing. Swing and a miss on the 1-1. Stefuk going slow to get strike 2. And Bushbaum will hope to avoid another strikeout as Stefuk hopes for an easy inning. The 1-2. Hit to short, and that should be out number 3. A quick pickup by Urso to Woodburn, and Stefuk, despite hitting a batter, gets a strikeout and a quick inning in the top of the 4th. Tampa's red-hot offense headed back to the plate. Due up for Tampa. Tampa will be Irigoyen, Karstetter, and Stella. We'll see if we rotate to the top of the order again when we return.
This is the University of Tampa. UT students travel from across the nation and around the globe to join a dynamic learning community. There are 150 academic programs, continuing studies for non-traditional students, and a highly ranked graduate school. Students live in up.
And we are resuming with my prediction that Garavito would enter the game. He'll do so as a pinch hitter to take on a new pitcher. It's now Isaac Rowers on the mound. Rowers has featured in 3 games, over 6 2/3 from the bullpen, has struck out 6 and only walked 1 in that span.
Yeah, you were right about Coach Russo switching up the batting lineup.
1-0, missing up high. And I definitely think, especially with that starting catching spot, not totally up for grabs. There's still a bit of a platoon between Irigoyen and Garavito, although I think Irigoyen's been getting a few more of the starts recently. It's good to get more reps for Garavito, too.
That's true.
2-0 now to Garavito. Carstetter on deck. We'll see if he gets another try, but it actually looks like it'll be someone new from the bench for the Spartans. That's going to miss for ball 3. I think it's going to be Jake Turr on deck for Tampa, the number 21. Let's see if Garavito gets on board to start the inning. 3 balls in a row from Rowers. And that'll be a fastball right on the top half of the zone. 3-1 from the righty. Ball 4. Garavito able to keep the bat on his shoulder and get another free pass. Just his second walk of the season, Tampa has 5 walks in the game. Here's how the Golden Eagles defense looks. I realized I forgot to mention that. Scalani in left, Devils in center, Bushbauer in right. Caps at short. Sotram at third, Sen at second, Wenzeloff at first. Larson behind home plate and Rowers in the circle. They are the new battery in the game for Minnesota Crookston. Turr goes around for strike 1. So far this season he's had 3 at-bats and he's gotten 1 hit. So not a bad start at all for the freshman from Tampa, coming from Wharton High School. Make it 0-2. Turr is alongside a few other Tampa products who have joined the Spartans. Satin, of course, from Florida, but came from Plant High School and is a Tampa product. And A.J. Graham as well, another freshman from Tampa.
Must feel good to be playing for the team that you grew up watching, I guess.
Get to play for the hometown side. I will say, I would love to have a Tampa derby between us and USF one time. Would love to see how the Bulls stack up against the Spartans. I think our high-end talent can definitely go toe-to-toe against them.
Definitely, yeah.
Bullpen would probably be where USF has a slight advantage. The main thing with D2 and D1's differential is the depth, where the best D2 stars would be good in D1, but the reserves throughout D2, that's where the D1 team has the advantage. And then, of course, you also have the Paul Skeens type of players that would probably strike out 20 of ours.
I mean, yeah.
And that's taking into consideration how good this Tampa team is. Paul Skeens is just otherworldly. And we had a player who had faced Paul Skeens last year. As there's a swing and a miss, a strikeout for Turr. Rowers gets out number 1.
You talking about Joe Uso?
No, not Joe Urso. I was talking about, I'm completely blanking. I feel embarrassed. But our first baseman last year.
Okay.
Who had won the Gold Glove there in 2022-2023 season. The first pitch of the new at-bat, another strike. Now at the plate, it is the number 9, Joe Stella. He stays in the game for the Spartans. But yeah, Stephen Klein.
Stephen Klein, yeah. I don't think I was there when he was playing for the Spartans.
Well, it's only last year. That's going to be down the line and foul. Stella a foot away from extra bases.
Wait, did you say 22-23 or 23-24?
23-24.
Okay, yeah, I was there then.
Stella hopes to get on board for the first time today. Hit into a double play to start the game. And now Rowers gets set. Missing away. Good take by Stella. It's 1-2. Great to see Stella doing well so far. The graduate previously played at Georgetown. And he'll stay alive, 2-2 now, taking outside from Rowers. Rowers checking on the runner. They're not going to try to steal with Garavito, I think. Hit to third. This is a double play potential? No. Throw to first is in time. Good hustle by Garavito to prevent Sotrom from getting a double play.
Will this be the first scoreless inning for Tampa?
Maybe. 2 away for Maddox King. No, actually, they're bringing Jake Griffith off the bench, featuring that CM Punk theme song. You know, speaking of wrestling, the thing everyone's been talking about from last weekend, John Cena's heel turn. Him attacking Cody Rhodes at the end of the pay-per-view event. Pretty shocking. And heartbreaking as well. Not just for R-Truth, if you look at his social media, but for everyone growing up watching John Cena in WWE. Griffin takes strike one in the outside corner. The left-hander, someone that Tampa can call upon from the bench. Just another example of how stacked this Spartans team is. When you can bring Jake Griffith, a player like him, off the bench, you know your team's pretty good. 0-2 now as Griffith falls behind. And here comes the 2-strike pitch from Rowers. Foul back, still 2 outs, still 2 strikes. Down low, that'll be the first ball of the at-bat. Good take by Griffith. Hit foul, still 1-2. One more time, the 1-2 from Rowers. Fouled. Griffith battling and staying alive. Garavito at second. That's floated high. And as long as the Golden Eagles can keep an eye on the ball, they'll end the inning. And Tampa, for the first time today, held scoreless. Garavito got on board, got to second, but is headed back to the dugout to put on the catcher's gear to re-enter the game when we continue in the top of the 5th.
In the late 1920s, the prospect of a Hillsborough High student enrolling in college was bleak. The nation was in the throes of the Great Depression. Businesses were failing, and many of Tampa's beautiful waterfront homes were left abandoned. The principal at Hillsborough High, Frederick Spalding, didn't see these barriers. He only saw bright young students who were in need of a place to continue their learning. In 1931, collegiate-level courses were offered at Hillsborough High. This would later become the University of Tampa. On August 2, 1933, Spalding arrived at the doors of Plant Hall with a 100-year lease from the city and a firm resolve, and with the turn of a key, opened the door to the University of Tampa. In its fledgling years, UT was fortunate if it could collect half of the tuition due from its students. It was only through the dedication of its professors, who worked without pay, that the university survived the Great Depression. Over the next several decades, UT grew slightly, enrolling up to 1,800 at times, starting several sports teams, and even began accepting students from other areas of the country. But in the early 90s, the growth seemed to stand still, even stop. UT needed new life, some passion. UT needed strong leadership.
In 1995, Dr. Vaughn became president and UT began to transform. 1,000 UT students has become 7,200, and we are now entering our 17th consecutive year of record enrollment. All the while, UT's academic profile continues to increase. There has been $350 million in new construction since 2000. We have added 7 new residence halls, academic buildings and labs, as well as athletic facilities. Plant Hall even got new carpet and new windows.
So here we go in the top of the 5th. Larson leads off for Minnesota Crookston. Stefuk stays in the mound for the Spartans. Tampa with a dominant advantage at this stage of the game. And now they've also had 37 scoreless innings in a row as that's ball 1 up high. Interesting thing, though, for the Spartans. Out of their 45 runs conceded this year, 37 earned, they've conceded 12 home runs along the way, as the count goes 2-0. That kind of shows that they're an aggressive pitching staff, and if that you beat them by hitting the ball long, you might get rewarded for it. But because they're very good at avoiding walks, you have to hit the ball hard to beat them.
At the same time, I mean, even though they do give up home runs, the batting side makes up for it.
Of course. Tampa hitting .293 on the season. Opponents only hitting .215 against Tampa. That's going to miss up high. 3-1 from Stefuk. He enters today with no earned runs from the bullpen in 3 outings. He's one of Tampa's higher leverage arms alongside Michael Alfonso. Alfonso being the closer this season with a dominant start to the season as the count goes 3-2. Alfonso struck out 10 over 9 innings and has recorded 4 saves for the Spartans. Eli Thurman's gotten the other 2 saves. Popped up. And that is going to be caught in center field.
That went high.
High, but in range for Jake Griffith. By the way, here's the new Tampa players on the field. Everyone has been changed. Harmon's out in left field, Griffith in center field, and Ashby in right field. Turr at the hot corner, Graham at short, Saladino at second, Valdez at first, Garavito behind home plate. Notably, Saladino didn't get the start today. Not that they needed him, given the scoreline.
Yeah.
But it'll also be good to see Saladino continuing at the plate as well, hoping to improve his batting average this season. He is very much suffering the Anthony Nunez curse. Nunez had been below the Mendoza line for the first couple series of the season while hitting at a .400 on-base percentage. He just was getting on base with walks and was struggling when he was putting the ball in play, and that's kind of the same for Saladino. .438 on-base percentage with 11 walks, but he's only mustered 6 hits. Fly ball, foul, 1-2. One more strike from Stefuk, and he'd add a second on the board and retire Caps for the second time today. The Bills in on deck. He's the only player to get on board so far for the Golden Eagles. Get on board via hit, I should mention. Swing and a miss. Stefuk, 2 strikeouts now in 1 2/3 innings. And Devils in will try again. What a start, though, from the freshman, who's had a great first few series for Minnesota Crookston. Can he get on board again today? I'm also checking. I don't think he's taken the mound yet, although he is listed as a two-way player. Given that he is not the DH, that would be a little bit of a tricky change to get him on the mound. They'd have to, I think, forego the DH position or something. The count goes 2-0. But you know, a game like this would be not a bad spot to give someone a debut on the mound. Could see the same for the Spartans.
It'll be easier for the Spartans because it builds more pressure on the person who might come on the mound for the Golden Eagles.
Not sure who Tampa would give a debut to, although maybe we'd see Carson Queso get his first appearance of the season. Would love to see Queso getting at bat sometime as well. Probably wouldn't happen, but I know last year he had finished with a perfect 1,000 batting average. getting on board with 2 hits and 2 tries. That's a 4-pitch walk for Debilson. He gets on board for the second time today. And that is going to bring, with 2 away, Satchram to the plate. The senior from Portland will take ball 1 down low from Stefuk. I think this will probably be it for Stefuk. He doesn't usually have 3-inning outings.
Yeah.
This will relay into another Spartan reliever up next.
Who would it be, according to you?
That's a tough guess, but I do imagine, well, I can confirm, there is someone stretching and tossing in the bullpen. But if this is your first time seeing the action at the University of Tampa Stadium, for instance, if you're a Golden Eagles fan that wasn't able to catch any of the action last weekend, you'll know that Tampa's bullpen is shielded away, so we can't see it well from the broadcast, but neither can opponents. Conversely, opponents do have their bullpen warm up on the diamond. And there is a right-hander getting set for the Golden Eagles. 2-1 from Stefuk. Driven to center field. Griffith gets there in time. So even though there was a 4-pitch walk to Debilson, no hits given up by Stefuk over 2 innings of work as Tampa holds on to their lead, entering the top of the 6th. Bottom of the 6th. Or 5th.
This is the University of Tampa. UT students travel from across the nation and around the globe to join a dynamic learning community. There are 150 academic programs, continuing studies for non-traditional students, and a highly ranked graduate school.
Harmon leads off for the Spartans. He gets a chance today. It'll be his 5th at-bat of the year. He's drawn 2 walks and he's got a base hit. Let's see what the junior, who previously was at Santa Fe College, could do. Santa Fe is very much becoming a pipeline for the Spartans, as that's swing and a miss for strike 1. Other Santa Fe alums that are currently with UTampa include Tobin Moran, and a few others. Oh, and, well, there's someone else, but I forgot to see them on the list for now. Anyway, 1-1 coming up for Harmon. He'll take outside for strike 2. It'll be Ashby and Graham due up for the Spartans on up next. And again, when you have someone like Lenny Ashby coming off the bench as well, that's how strong the Spartans are. Swing and a miss. Rowers gets his 2nd strikeout, starting the inning by getting Harmon down in a 4-pitch at bat. 1 away in the bottom of the 5th. Here comes Lenny Ashby. First pitch on the way from Rowers to Ashby. Ball 1 outside. Ashby has generally been the starting right fielder for most of the season. But sometimes Tampa, I think, kind of rolling different platoons in the outfield and infield. That's also the reason that Saladino, who's been the everyday second baseman for the most part, also didn't get the start today. Three and 0. I thought that would have been strike 1. Rowers quickly behind in the count. It's Graham on deck for the Spartans, the freshman shortstop. I definitely think that Graham might be one of the players lined up to be a replacement for J.D. Urso next year. And also, of course, for Saladino. Saladino a senior, Urso a senior. The middle and the infield going to have some vacant spots next year for Tampa. That'll be ball 4 for Ashby. He gets aboard. A.J. Graham looking to get on board for the first time as a Spartan. 0 for 4, although he did score a run earlier in the season. It was either he got aboard on an error or was a pinch runner. Line drive, and that is bad luck for Graham. He hit that right to Caps, 2 away. Here comes Saladino now with 1 aboard and 2 out. Roars quickly recovering from the walk against Ashby by getting a first pitch line out. Valdez, Garavito, and Turr to follow up on deck. Ball 1 missing away. Two and 0, and Saladino ahead in the count. Three and 0, also didn't hit the zone. It has been a batter's strike zone today for both teams. Rowers, I think, got unlucky that time. That's a 4-pitch walk to Nico Saladino. That was pretty clearly outside. And here comes Mike Valdez. And again, when you've got players like Ashby and Valdez on the bench, that's the reason Tampa's got the number 1 rank of seed so far in the nation all season long. Not just because we've done well at the plate, but it's because we've got star-level talent that we can bring off the bench like this. 0-1 for Mike Valdez. Valdez, cold to start the season. He had a monster 2023-24 season, though. This would be a great chance to try to turn it around. Fouled, and look at how that flew off the bat. Would have been a home run if it was about 10 degrees to the left.
Yeah, that was going the distance for sure. What did I miss, Taylor?
Not much. Tampa's got 2 base runners, but there's also 2 outs for Rowers.
2 outs or 1?
2.
Oh, the board's wrong, I guess.
Line drive, caught at second, and that'll retire the side. Rowers concedes 2 base runners, but thanks to 2 line drives and a strikeout against Harmon, he retires the side. 2 scoreless for Minnesota Crookston in a row. Can they get on the board in the next inning? I think we'll have a call from the bullpen when we come back on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network.
In the late 1920s, the prospect of a Hillsborough High student enrolling in college was bleak. The nation was in the throes of the Great Depression. Businesses were failing, and many of Tampa's beautiful waterfront homes were left abandoned. The principal at Hillsborough High, Frederick Spalding, didn't see these barriers. He only saw bright young students who were in need of a place to continue their learning. In 1931, collegiate-level courses were offered at Hillsborough High. This would later become the University of Tampa. On August 2, 1933, Spalding arrived at the doors of Plant Hall with a 100-year lease from the city and a firm resolve, and with the turn of a key, opened the door to the University of Tampa. In its fledgling years, UT was fortunate if it could collect half of the tuition due from its students. It was only through the dedication of its professors, who worked without pay, that the university survived the Great Depression. Over the next several decades, UT grew slightly, enrolling up to 1,800 at times, starting several sports teams, and even began accepting students from other areas of the country. But in the early 90s, the growth seemed to stand still, even stop. UT needed new life, some passion. UT needed strong leadership.
In 1995, Dr. Vaughn became president and UT began to transform. 1,000 UT students has become 7,200, and we are now entering our 17th consecutive year of record enrollment. All the while, UT's academic profile continues to increase. There has been $350 million in new construction since 2000. We have added 7 new residence halls, academic buildings and labs, as well as athletic facilities. Plant Hall even got new carpet and new windows. UT now has more than 3,000 events annually and 200 clubs and student organizations. We have won 13 NCAA Division II championships, and since 2000,
We are ready to go in the top of the 6th. Welcome back to the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. Now taking the mound for you, Tampa. It's the number 0, Logan Wash. Let's see what the graduate student previously at South Alabama can do. That'll be ball 1, missing outside. Wash has had 5 strikeouts and 5 walks in 3 appearances. Hasn't given up a hit, though, this season. That's going to miss down low, ball 1. Last year with South Alabama, he struck out 21 batters over 16 and a third innings. He had a career 12 K through 9.
Hey, that's something.
Pretty good job in Sun Belt play. And he also takes a kind of funky arm slot to the mound for the Spartans as well. It's very nice to have as a left-handed pitcher as well. It makes it very difficult for left-handed batters when you're facing them. There is good news for Dykoff, though. He's going to take 4 straight to get on board.
Yeah, not the best start, but I'm pretty sure he can come back from it. He's actually from South Alabama as well.
Originally from Longwood, Florida.
Sorry, yeah, he went to school
In South
in
Alabama.
yeah, my bad.
I don't think it would list the hometown as South Alabama.
Yeah.
Although, maybe there's a town called South Alabama in South Alabama.
You never know.
There's probably a town name that's the state name somewhere in the nation. Like there's probably like a Dakota, North Dakota, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, here comes the 0-1 to Sen. Just missing up high to make it 1-1. Went backdoor the breaking ball. So far today, Minnesota Crookston 0 for 7 with runners on board. They've been able to get a few base runners before. 5 of them have been stranded. That'll miss 2-1. Should also mention for Tampa, Stefuk ends his outing on the mound with 2 innings, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Satin, I'll reiterate, had 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, and a hit over 3 innings. 3-1 now from Wash. On deck is Scolati. Will he inherit 2 base runners? Ball 4. But so far, it is not just the Golden Eagles pitchers who are struggling to find the zone. This has been very unforgiving for pitchers today. But I always think that whenever you've got different umpires, as long as they're consistent and there's no crazy disparities for both teams in the calls, I think it's fine.
Hey.
And today, you definitely have to say that for Samuel Birch behind home play, he has given both pitchers a tough task of trying to find the zone.
Hey, you can't argue with City Hall. That's
Yep.
what you say.
All you have to do on the mound is just go a little further inside or outside, depending on where you're missing.
Yeah.
0-1 now. Swing and a miss by Scolati. He's had 2 strikeouts today. And he's going to go behind 0-2.
I think you can say Wash has found his rhythm now.
That's what I mean by effectively wild. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. And, even though Wash will walk a couple of batters, he'll follow it up with a couple of strikeouts. Wensloff to the plate now. In the first inning, he was receiving a tricky ground ball that bounced out of his glove on a quick play from third base. But apart from that, he's done a good job of defending, making some good scoops as well. He's also gone on board twice with a walk and hit by pitch, ball 1 to Wensloff. That's going to be another ball missing the zone. 2-0. That's going to be ball 3. Or ball strike.
Oh,
one.
that's a strike. He swung.
Here comes the 2-1 count. Oof. So close, but 3-1. On deck after Wenzloff is Bushbaum. Still 1 away and 2 aboard. He went around 3-2. Here comes the payoff pitch.
I think so far this has been the longest inning for the Spartans.
And that is going to miss as both runners will advance for ball 4. They probably would have advanced on a swinging strike 3 anyway, but Wenzloff kept the bat on his shoulders and the bases are loaded. By the way, Tampa have still the 38 scoreless innings in a row. Here comes Sam Militello out to the mound. You could definitely say it's in the most danger of coming to an end with this upcoming plate appearance. 3 walks from Wash, 1 strikeout. There hasn't been a ball in play yet from the Golden Eagles.
Good decision to take a break over there.
Currently at third is Dykhoff. At second is Sen. Wenzloff at first. Bushbaum at the plate.
You think he'll go for the bunt over here, or?
It'd be a risk to do it. But that'll be strike 1. Wash finding the zone. A sacrifice wouldn't be impossible. And especially with the Tampa infield being pretty far out. But I think Bushbaum is going to be swinging away, especially at this next pitch. Hit up the middle. That could be 2. Flip to short, throw to first, offline. 2 runs will score on the play for Minnesota Crookston. And while they do get the final out at second, the Golden Eagles end the scoreless frame as making it home is Sen and Dykhoff, the throwing error allowing both to reach safely. So Tampa does pick up the double play, but it goes 6-4, 3-6, or 4, depending on who caught the last ball.
Okay.
Anyway, 2 runs come home for Minnesota Crookston. Tampa still in front by 9 as we enter the bottom of the 6th. And with that, the longest scoreless stretch of Spartans baseball ends at 38 and 1 2/3.
That's still
Depending
a new
on how you
record.
grade that last play.
That's still a new record.
This is the University of Tampa. UT students travel from across the nation and around the globe to join a dynamic learning community. There are 150 academic programs, continuing studies for non-traditional students, and a highly ranked graduate school. And internships, and the rest.
Bad news for the Spartans. The scoreless inning streak comes to an end. It's hard to make it 4 straight shutouts, but, 3 in a row is still quite impressive. And Tampa did even get the inning-ending double play on the play that scored 2 runs. There was a good throw from short to second, but the throw to first to get the final out was just over Valdez's head. Valdez recovered by getting the out at second a little bit later, but the Golden Eagles put 2 on the board.
Yeah,
That'll be outside for ball 1 to start the new inning.
There's still 9 away.
Rowers might be trying to audition for a chance to enter the rotation for Minnesota Crookston. 2 hitless innings against the Spartans. Make it 1-1 to Garavito. Garavito drew a walk back in the 4th inning. I am completely wrong. There's a new pitcher in for Minnesota Crookston. They brought Caden Camacho to the plate as the count goes 1-2. Camacho's had 2 appearances from the bullpen. He struck out 3 in 2 innings. That's going to miss outside. Ball 2. Bases aren't currently loaded for Santiago Garavito. There we go. Had a little hiccup with the scoreboard. 3rd time's the charm on clicking that reset button. As the 2-2 comes up for the Spartans catcher. Driven down the line and foul. Still 2-2. Two on the way. Into the outfield for a base hit. A useful hit for Garavito and the Spartans. He's on for the 2nd time today. Here comes Jake Turr. Turr had an out in his last at-bat. He'll get a chance right here with 1 aboard and no one out. That's the first hit of the inning for the Spartans. First time they've gotten a hit since one of the previous players that entered the game. That being Rowers. Outside ball 1. That's going to miss outside, and Garavito reaches second. The 2-seam fastball breaking away from Larson. And another wild pitch. Back to back. Garavito reaches third.
It's 2 more stolen bases for the Spartans.
Yeah, it's wild pitches, so it won't actually add to the tally.
Okay.
Does the same, though.
Yeah.
As the count goes 3-0 to Turr. Stella on deck. Looks like they are keeping him in the game as that's tipped foul. Actually, will correct myself. It's another pinch hitter on the way. On deck for the Spartans will be Matthew Fogel, making his 2nd appearance of the season. Three and 2. Turr swinging away. He'll bring the count full against Camacho here in the bottom of the 6th. If Turr can get under this one, he might be able to bring home another run for the Spartans and extend the advantage. That'll bring home the run as it splits the infield. An RBI single for Jake Turr. His first RBI as a Spartan. Congratulations, Jake Turr. It's not his first hit. He already had one beforehand. Here comes Matthew Fogel to the plate. The junior from Orlando, previously at Lake Highland Prep, trying to deliver this time around. Pickoff throw, worried about the potential base stealing threat of Jake Turr. Hasn't had one this season. Tampa finally back on the board after being held scoreless for 2 straight innings. Also a great way to recover after the scoreless inning streak came to a close at 38 1/3 in a row. Multiple shutouts back-to-back for you, Tampa. That's going to hit the zone, make it 1-1. Fogel is still looking for his first career hit. Does have 5 career walks as a Spartan in limited at-bats. 5 walks and 12 at-bats is not too bad. He has a career .294 on base percentage for the Spartans. Swinging to miss 1-2. Fogel staying alive, but down to the count.
There's a massive distance between the bat and the ball there.
It was far outside. One-two now from Camacho. Another pickoff throw. Turr safe again. Fogel was coached by Jared Saltalamacchia when he was playing with the PBC Elite Platinum Baseball Club. Swing and a miss. The slider well away for strike. Out number 1 for Camacho and out number 1 for Camacho. And that's going to bring Jake Griffith back to the plate. Outfield slightly shifting to the right a little bit, expecting him to pull it. I see Scolati standing a little bit further to the center field line. As that's going to be strike 1, hitting the outside corner from Camacho. Good recovery after the opening hit and then RBI hit to get a quick strike here after that strikeout. That one hits Griffith. He'll take the free base. 2 aboard, 1 away, back to the top of the order for Drake Harmon.
Is that the 3rd time a pitch is hitting him?
That is another one for the Spartans. I think you might be right, Raj. I think that is 3 times today. Yeah, yes it is.
Yeah.
3 hit by pitches now for Tampa today. Ball 1, Harmon takes outside. Day has turned the night at the University of Tampa, although that's because we are playing a Monday night game. Make it 1-1 now as Harmon sends it foul. This is the final Spartan home game until later in March, when Tampa comes back to face Embry-Riddle on the 21st and 22nd.
It's a good time to be ending the home stretch as the spring break coming off for the Spartans as well.
Tampa will be on the road in California this weekend and then facing off against Albany State and Palm Beach on road visits the next week as the count goes 1-2. Before we continue with home baseball and another long road stretch to start April, will be some tricky matchups. Valdosta State, Nova Southeastern, and Rollins back-to-back. And before that, we have to face Florida Southern, who is currently 6th in the nation on the Div 2 baseball poll.
That should be a good matchup.
Yeah, I think that is from the... Not sure if that's the full poll or whether that's the Div 2 baseball Twitter account, though. If you ever are interested in more D2 baseball content, you can always check them out on Twitter at Div 2 Baseball, the 2 being the Roman letters I's in the username. They recently had a post talking about Skylar Gonzalez's undefeated Spartan career, 23-0 over his 3 seasons with Tampa. He is our own invincible ace.
Hey.
Fouled away.
Lucky charm, as some would call it. I know a lot of people believe in sports superstitions. Do you believe in them too?
Some of them. Mainly when I'm playing, not when I'm doing games like commentary.
I mean, yeah, of course, but...
Trying to remember if there was anything crazy from my childhood that I'd remember, as that's going to miss inside 3-2. Harmon dodging it as Ashby's on. Nope, not Ashby. They're bringing a call to the bench. Dennis McCaffrey on deck. McCaffrey wears the 16, previously worn by McAllister Jorgensen. Hit up the middle. That will score a run, but also will lead to out number 2. An RBI for Harmon on the ground out. 13-2 Spartans lead Here comes McCaffrey. So bad news for Jake Turr. That is a for Harmon, that is a ground out, but it is his second career RBI. And now Dennis McCaffrey looking for his first hit as a Spartan. He's featured 3 times. This is his first at bat.
Oh.
And it's going to end in a hit by pitch. He had a sacrifice fly and got plunked with a fastball in the shoulder.
Oh.
So, that's an interesting first 2 chances at the plate.
Definitely.
So, anyway, I don't think he'll be too disappointed. Runners at the corners now. It is Graham back at the plate for the Spartans with 2 away.
I mean, yeah, one you get someone home and one you get base, so.
Strike 1 for Graham. He had an unlucky line drive to Caps in his previous at-bat. Hit it straight towards the shortstop. A.J. Graham fouls that one away. It's strike 2.
That hit the edge of his bat and went straight down.
The former Pittsburgh Pirate, the 2021 draftee, ready to go for the 0-2. Good take outside, ball 1. Yeah, like Anthony Nunez, Graham was a MLB draft pick that ultimately has now made her way to the D2 level. Nunez now with the New York Mets, making a return to baseball. He's in the minor leagues. He was with Port St. Lucie last year. Maybe he gets the call up to Binghamton after this spring. Good take by Graham, 2-2 now. Graham's also been connected with the Spartans, having previously played with Nelson North, former Tampa assistant coach. Ball 3 for Graham. Saladino's on deck. Could see the bases loaded with 2 away in the bottom of the 6th. Payoff pitch. McCaffrey will be going. Ball 4. That'll load the bases. Graham gets aboard with Saladino at the plate. Congratulations for A.J. Graham. It's the first time he's gotten on base as a Spartan. Battling through the full count to bring up Saladino.
Well, let's see if he can do something about it.
In the most unsurprising outcome, Saladino drew a walk last time, getting his 12th of the season as that's strike 1 in the outside corner. I say that's unsurprising because, well, he's one of the team... Actually, he is the team leader in walks with just a couple games less played than everyone else in the Spartans as he swings and misses for strike 2. He's had 13 games, 12 starts. This is his 14th appearance, but only the 4th time this year he hasn't gotten a start in the infield. Hit up the middle. That is picked up at second, sliding, safe as the ball is dropped.
And
An RBI fielder's choice for Saladino, as Sen can't make the throw to Caps in time. It was bobbled by the shortstop, and that'll bring Mike Valdez with the bases loaded.
I mean, yeah, that was a great stop, but just not enough for the effort on the throw.
Sen did indeed save a run, but one was scoring for the Spartans. 14-2 Tampa's lead, and that is ball 1 to Mike Valdez. Garavito and Valdez on deck. Garavito on deck, Valdez at the plate. Very tough opponents for Camacho. I know Camacho would love an out here to only face Garavito next inning. That might be what he just got. Throw to seconds on time. And Camacho leaves him loaded as 3 come home for the Spartans. They extend their advantage even after conceding their first runs of the game in the previous inning. We'll be back with more action on the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network. 9 outs to go.
In the late 1920s, the prospect of a Hillsborough High student enrolling in college was bleak. The nation was in the throes of the Great Depression. Businesses were failing, and many of Tampa's beautiful waterfront homes were left abandoned. The principal at Hillsborough High, Frederick Spalding, didn't see these barriers. He only saw bright young students who were in need of a place to continue their learning. In 1931, collegiate-level courses were offered at Hillsborough High. This would later become the University of Tampa. On August 2, 1933, Spalding arrived at the doors of Plant Hall with a 100-year lease from the city and a firm resolve, and with the turn of a key, opened the door to the University of Tampa. In its fledgling years, UT was fortunate if it could collect half of the tuition due from its students. It was only through the dedication of its professors, who worked without pay, that the university survived the Great Depression. Over the next several decades, UT grew slightly, enrolling up to 1,800 at times, starting several sports teams, and even began accepting students from other areas of the country. But in the early 90s, the growth seemed to stand still, even stop. UT needed new life, some passion. UT needed strong leadership.
In 1995, Dr. Vaughn became president and UT began to transform. 1,000 UT students has become 7,200, and we are now entering our 17th consecutive year of record enrollment. All the while, UT's academic profile continues to increase. There has been $350 million in new construction since 2000. We have added 7 new residence halls, academic buildings and labs, as well as athletic facilities. Plant Hall even got new carpet and new windows. UT now has more than 3,000 events annually and 200 clubs and student organizations. We have won 13 NCAA Division II championships, and since 2000, Spartan teams have won 35 Sunshine State Conference titles. As a member of the University of Tampa Spartan family, you are
The Spartans left the bases loaded, but did bring home 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th. Tampa looking to get win number 14 this season. And funny enough, if this is how the scoreline stays to end the game, this would be Tampa's final score of the game and record entering their road trip coming up to California. 1-0 count for Larson as he'll take outside on the fastball from Ethan Brown. Now, I mentioned that Logan Walsh was effectively wild. Well, Brown even more so. In 6 1/3, he's struck out 9, he's walked 8.
Wow.
He's given up a couple more hits, though. That gives him the team highest ERA. But still, absolutely wicked stuff there from Brown as he finds the zone. Last time he featured in 2023 was with UCF, going 2-6, striking out 70 batters over 53 innings. His best performance was in the War on I-4 on March 31st, where he struck out 12 over 7 1/3.
It's pretty good stuff.
Strike 2, getting the outside corner. Larson went down looking and had a flyout in his first 2 at-bats.
Brings up a full count.
Minnesota Crookston still only 1 hit today. Swing and a miss, and Brown starts his outing with a strikeout. We'll see if Brown is going the distance from the bullpen. Could have a 3-inning save, but it also just might be a 1 or 2 inning stint for Brown as well. Wash only had 1 inning as well on the mound.
I don't think Walsh could find his rhythm completely out there today. Hey, he's not the first pitcher to do that, though.
That's strike 1 down low in the zone. 0-1 to Caps. Big thing is, Wash did get that inning-ending double play, even if it did come with an error.
Yeah.
His ERA will still be perfect, as that'll definitely go down as a unearned run, I believe, from that final out. Actually, no bad news for Wash. It looks like he will have 1 earned run from that play.
One is fine. I mean, it's a baseball game after all.
That'll put his ERA, I think it'll be around 3 or so. But also, again, for a bullpen player with 4 innings, you don't really look at ERA to see how good they've been doing. Fouled away, still 1-2 in the count. Will be interesting to see if Turr and Graham are a long-term duo at the hot corner and shortstop for the Spartans. The freshman combo on the left side of the infield. Caps line drive, foul. That'll go to the bullpen that has someone warming up for Minnesota Crookston. Hit to second.
Should be an easy out, and they get it.
2 away now for Brown, coaxing the ground out on the 1-2 count. That'll bring up Debilson at the top of the order for the Golden Eagles. Hit to short. Graham's throwing a first on target. Nice play from A.J. Graham to make it a 1-2-3 inning, and he gets some love from Ethan Brown on the way back to the dugout. Maybe Graham is the perfect replacement to J.D. Urso's electric shortstop defense. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th, the lucky 7.
In the late 1920s, the prospect of a Hillsborough High student enrolling in college was bleak. The nation was in the throes of the Great Depression. Businesses were failing, and many of Tampa's beautiful waterfront homes were left abandoned. The principal at Hillsborough High, Frederick Spaulding, didn't see these barriers. He only saw bright young students who were in need of a place to continue their learning. In 1931, collegiate-level courses were offered at Hillsborough High. This would later become the University of Tampa. On August 2, 1933, Spaulding arrived at the doors of Plant Hall with a 100-year lease from the city and a firm resolve, and with the turn of a key, opened the door to the University of Tampa. In its fledgling years, UT was fortunate if it could collect half of the tuition due from its students. It was only through the dedication of its professors, who worked without pay, that the university survived the Great Depression. Over the next several decades, UT grew slightly, enrolling up to 1,800 at times, starting several sports teams, and even began accepting students from other areas of the country. But in the early 90s, the growth seemed to stand still, even stop. UT needed new life, some passion. UT needed strong leadership.
In 1995, Dr. Vaughn became president, and UT began to transform. 1,000 UT students has become 7,200, and we are now entering our 17th consecutive year of record enrollment. All the while, UT's academic profile continues to increase. There has been $350 million in new construction since 2000. We have added 7 new residence halls, academic buildings and labs, as well as athletic facilities. Plant Hall even got new carpet and new windows. UT now has more than 3,000 events annually.
Let's return. It's the lucky 7th at the University of Tampa. Tampa already with a pretty good lead, though, so if they go scoreless here, I don't think it'll be too disappointing. Garavito, Turr, and Fogel to up for the Spartans. Garavito gets the first chance at the plate. Mathiasen takes the mound now for Minnesota Crookston. That'll be rolled to second. Just enough time for out number 1. For the season, Mathiasen has a 6.75 ERA. But he only had 1 appearance, going 1 1/3. Sorry, 2 appearances, going 1 1/3 innings. That was his 5th out he's recorded this season. And here comes Turr to the plate for the Spartans. He got on board with a hit last time as part of that 6th inning where Tampa scored thrice. I'll say that fastball is good velocity from Mathiasen, but that missed the plate by a comfortable distance. Ball 1. Hit up the middle. That should be out number 2. Turr out by half a step. I do wonder if the tie didn't go to the runner there because of the Tampa scoreline already. You know, sometimes in a game like this, there might be an extra advantage on defensive plays to try to speed things up a tiny bit. I think Turr got unlucky because he really ran that out well.
And normally, I think the batter should get the benefit of the doubt, I guess.
Well, they say tie goes to the runner.
Yeah.
I do want to notice this real quick. Look at this motion from Mathiasen. He has like kind of a slow start, but transitions from what we would expect to be a windup into a stretch. Here he is, starts his motion. Okay, he went a little more normal that time, but a little bit. He's had also times where he's had a little less of a leg kick. Kind of deceptive as Fogel gets ahead 2-0 in the count. Fogel, high fly ball. But that's going to fall at the warning track in no man's land. That's going to be dropped. Safe at second. Depends on what the scores say, but that might have been Fogel's first base hit as a Spartan. And I think it's going to be great news for Fogel. That's his first Spartan base hit. They're giving him the double.
Congratulations to him.
12th hit of the game for the Spartans, and it took 3 years, but Fogel has his first base hit. And they're calling for the ball at the dugout. I love that. I love that for Matthew Fogel. They had to stop play because they want to keep it for Fogel. He's been a part of the Spartans team for a few years now, and he has gotten his first base hit. That'll go well alongside the championship ring he had from last year's side as well. What a moment, though, for Matthew Fogel. A chance to try to score here with Griffith at the plate. Now, Fogel has come home for a few runs before. He will get stranded this time, as it's a 1-2-3 inning apart from Matthew Fogel's first base hit as a Spartan.
Study rooms and computers.
So assistant coach Eli Thurmond was out there to relay the lineup changes to the umpire for this brand new inning as we get underway. By the way, that was a little bit of sarcasm. First ball from Brown missing a pie. They had Thurmond out there to go over the defensive changes being made because Dennis McCaffrey entered the game for Lenny Ashby. 1-1 count now for Sotram. Both teams have more runs than hits. Minnesota Crookston, 2 runs on 1 hit. Tampa, 14 runs on 12 hits. That showed that both teams have capitalized on getting hit by pitches and drawing walks. Here's the second hit of the day. Sotram gets aboard with a single. 6 walks drawn by the Golden Eagles, 8 for the Spartans. Conversely, though, Tampa has recorded 9 strikeouts as a pitching staff. Minnesota Crookston only 4. Brown was able to get one of the strikeouts. Here comes Dykoff to the plate. Swing and a miss, 0-1. That was the first hit since Satin was on the mound. Satin conceded a hit back in the first inning, in the first at-bat, and it was up until here where Tampa held them hitless. 0-2 quickly. Fouled away, still 0-2.
I don't think that ball ever came down.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. tipped foul. Dykoff barely stays alive. He's had 2 of the 3 true outcomes today. 2 walks and a strikeout where he went down looking. Outside, ball 1. Driven down the line and foul. That is picked up cleanly in the bullpen, though, by Minnesota Crookston. 1-2 count.
He's managing to keep alive over here.
Great job protecting.
As he takes that for ball 2.
2-2, missing outside.
Will we see a full count?
Missing. You're right, Raj. We got a full count now. No one out, 1 aboard. Even lower leverage here for the Spartans on the mound because of the scoreless streak coming to an end back in the 6th inning. 38 1/3 scoreless innings in a row for Tampa. As that's going to be ball 4. Dykoff drawing his 3rd walk of the game.
Yeah, well, if Golden Eagles are looking to make a comeback, right now would be the perfect time for them.
They only have 6 outs,
Yeah.
but
I
you
mean,
never
have
know.
2 on base, full inning ahead of you.
So Brown, after the single and walk, in a little bit of trouble here. One thing to notice as well, Tampa has got a ton of left-handed arms they can rely upon. On days like this, they're able to run exclusively left-handers from the bullpen, which is interesting, as it kind of really keeps opponents on their toes a little bit, since normally you don't have as many left-handers that you face. Well, the runners will advance. That fastball goes right past Garavito. 2-0 count now for Sen. That'll be strike 1 hitting the zone. Hit up the middle. Here's the flip to first. They get it. Out number 1 as it's now 14-3. An RBI ground out from Sen, who brings Satram home. Now at the plate, it is Scolati. Only runners at 3rd at the moment, with 1 away. Down low inside for ball 1. Two and 0 missing down low and inside. Hit down the line, and that'll bring home another run. 14-4. Scolati, turn it on the Jets. He'll reach second, a standing double. That was a crisp base hit. And here comes Wenzloff to the plate.
And I perfectly stayed inside the line to make it a fair play.
Pretty far out of reach of Tur as well.
Yeah.
1 away, 1 in scoring position again. First pitch from Brown. Missing inside for ball 1.
Ten more runs for the Golden Eagles to catch up.
Swing and a miss. 1-1 count now as he went swinging at the offering in the dirt. That's going to miss again. 2-1 down low. Two and two, hitting the outside corner. Wenzloff has gotten on board 3 times with a walk, hit by pitch, and walk. Three and two count now for Wenzloff. Ball 4. 2 on, 1 away, as that one misses outside.
A quick meeting.
Militello out there to talk to Brown. It looks like Eli Thurman might be headed out to the bullpen, or at least just headed somewhere different. There is someone already stretching and tossing in the bullpen for the Spartans in case they need to make a change. Bushbaum had an RBI on a fielder's choice earlier. That was the play that brought home 2 runs. However, he was out at second on that same play, too. Hit over the second base player.
Just out of reach. And that would bring home 1 more run for the Golden Eagles.
And with 1 away, it's 14-5, a 3-run top of the 8th for Minnesota Crookston. The offense starting to heat up late. Larson back to the plate now.
Better now than never, huh?
Larson, so far today, is 0 for 3. The entirety of that 7, 8, 9 group of the order was 0 for 3. But Bushbaum did just get a hit and an RBI as the count goes 0-1. Almost hitting the inside corner again. The count goes 1-1. Outside, 2-1. Just missing the zone.
Second game?
Hit through the hole for a base hit. Into left field. That'll bring another home for Minnesota Crookston. 14-6 now. Another base hit. A 4-hit inning for the Golden Eagles. Brown still staying in the game. Double play opportunity, of course, still on the board. Ball 1 missing down low. Two and 0 missing low and inside. Two and 1, hitting low and inside the zone. 3-1 missing from Brown. Caps could load the bases for Debilson. Ball 4, just missing outside corner. Bases loaded for Debilson. Still one away. Force out now at home, and that'll be curtains for Brown. His pitch count was also getting pretty high, so not a surprise to see the change being made here. We'll be right back as someone new comes from the bullpen.
Cafeteria plus an additional.
Let's go. No, it is, yeah, let's go.
Cafeteria plus an high quality services.
Now on the mound for the Spartans, it's Carson Queso. Coming in with the bases loaded as that's ball 1, missing outside. Great to see Queso getting his first appearance of the season. And trying to get the outside corner, but that has been a tough location for every arm this matchup. Not just for the Spartans, but for the Golden Eagles as well. Now we'll hit inside. Strike 1. Three and 1 from Queso. Delibazin has gone on board a few times today. A single and a walk, but also 2 groundouts. Line drive into the gap. That'll drop. Can Tampa prevent a second run from scoring? Yes, they will. An RBI single for Delibazin. It is 14-7. And Minnesota Crookston now with a 5-run top of the 8th. Starting to spark some offense. It was just the 3rd hit surrendered in Carson Queso's career. He featured twice in 2021, then recovering from an injury in 2022-2023, made his return in 2024. Still bases loaded, still 1 away as he'll find the zone. 0-1 for Sotrom. Rolled on the ground to 3rd. There's the first out at 2nd. Throw to 1st, not in time. That brings home another run for Minnesota Crookston, but there's 2 away with runners at the corners.
They're really making a comeback here.
That's the type of out, though, that you wanted from Carson Queso. Have him put it on the ground and get the defense to work. Dykoff at the plate. 2 on, 2 away. He'll miss outside for ball 1. That's going to swing and miss. 1-1. That's going to hit the zone. 1-2. One more strike, and Carson Queso would get out of the inning. Floated foul. Still 1-2. Swing and a miss. And Queso gets a strikeout to strand runners at the corners.
The long inning for Tampa comes to an end.
Congrats to Carson Queso, though. That's his first strikeout since the 2022 season. And while it is a great inning for the Golden Eagles, Tampa do leave 2 aboard, and they need 3 more outs as they try to hold on to a 6-run lead when we come back.
This is the University of Tampa. UT students travel from across the nation and around the globe to join a dynamic learning community. There are 150 academic programs, continuing studies for non-traditional students, and a highly ranked graduate school. A Division II athletics program.
Here we go in the bottom of the 8th. Last chance for the Spartans to extend the advantage. A 6-run Minnesota Crookston top of the 8th was definitely not what Tampa was looking for.
Definitely not.
But they still hold on to a lead thanks to the 11 runs scored in the first 3 innings of the game. Grafsgaard enters the game for Minnesota Crookston. Ball 1 so far this season. Grafsgaard has had 1 save, and he struck out 5 over 4 2/3 innings.
We've seen a lot of pitchers pitch in this game.
Indeed, quite a few for both teams.
Yeah.
Carson Queso has also made his first appearance of the season for the Spartans. And we also saw Matthew Fogel get his first Spartan base hit alongside a ton of Spartan and Golden Eagles offense.
Yeah.
One and two now. Trying to get that first strike for that first out. Ooh, that was a wicked breaking ball for strikeout number 1 in the bottom of the 8th. Completely froze Harmon. Now here comes McCaffrey with 1 away. McCaffrey got hit on the first pitch in his previous at-bat. Strike one, the outside corner. Hit on the ground to third. Bobbled at the hot corner. McCaffrey reaches safely as Sotram couldn't get the throw across. They think it'll be the second error of the game for Minnesota Crookston. So, one aboard, one away for Graham. A.J. Graham looking for his first base hit as a Spartan. Got on board via walk last time. Swing and a miss for strike one. Ball one, missing outside. Down to the dirt. 2-1. Good take by Graham. Grafsgaard also an effectively wild pitcher, you could call it. 5 walks in that 4 2/3 inning span as well.
We have seen a lot of walks today.
I'll be hoping to avoid one here against Graham. I will say, though, if you're averaging a high amount of walks, as long as you're averaging a high amount of strikeouts, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
And to have +9 or a 9+ K through 9 for both that and the walk percentage, not too bad to start the year for Grafsgaard. What's better for him is the ERA that he's got entering today's game at an even 0.
And I mean, yeah, there've only been a few games so far, so you can't.
Oh, bounces off Grafsgaard's glove, was trying to turn a double play with a catch. Couldn't. 2 aboard now for the Spartans with 1 away.
I was saying there've only been a few games, so you can't really judge the statistics because
Of course.
every game can like change a person's stat right now. It's too early in the season to say.
Saladino back at the plate for the Spartans. Fouled as the Ursa was able to duck out of the way of that line drive. 0-1.
Yeah, that was good reflex from Uso there.
Ball gets away. Both runners advance. Tampa would love to extend the advantage, and Saladino has a great chance to do so. 1-1.
And you only have 1 out on the board.
Even better. That'll miss. 2-1. Saladino ahead in the count. The infield playing pretty hard inside, and they're right to do so. Saladino's the type of player who would try a squeeze bunt. I don't think he would here, though, with a 6-run lead. 2-2 count. 2 strikes, 1 away. Ball 3, missing down low.
That was well taken by Nico.
Payoff pitch to Saladino. Driven to right field, and that's going to land. And caught. Wow. How did Bushbaum make that catch? However, while run scores, Graham tried to make it home, and they get a relay throw to get him out. 15-8 Spartans lead, a sac fly for Saladino, but just like a previous inning-ending double play, a run comes home for Tampa as the Golden Eagles escape the inning. So Graham didn't hold up at third. Urso with a little bit of maybe trying to catch them off guard with some heads-up base running, but Minnesota Crookston responds in time. We're headed to the top of the ninth.
In the late 1920s, the prospect of a Hillsborough High student enrolling in college was bleak. The nation was in the throes of the Great Depression. Businesses were failing, and many of Tampa's beautiful waterfront homes were left abandoned. The principal at Hillsborough High, Frederick Spalding, didn't see these barriers. He only saw bright young students who were in need of a place to continue their learning. In 1931, collegiate-level courses were offered at Hillsborough High. This would later become the University of Tampa. On August 2, 1933, Spalding arrived at the doors of Plant Hall with a 100-year lease from the city and a firm resolve, and with the turn of a key, opened the door to the University of Tampa. In its fledgling years, UT was fortunate if it could collect half of the tuition due from its students. It was only through the dedication of its professors, who worked without pay, that the university survived the Great Depression. Over the next several decades, UT grew slightly, enrolling up to 1,800 at times, starting several sports teams, and even began accepting students from other areas of the country. But in the early 90s, the growth seemed to stand still, even stop. UT needed new life, some passion. UT needed strong leadership.
In 1995, Dr. Vaughn became president and UT began to transform. 1,000 UT students has become 7,200, and we are now entering our 17th consecutive year of record enrollment. All the while, UT's academic...
Carson Queso continues on the mound. Sen leads off as he'll take ball one down low. Queso recorded a strikeout in the previous inning. And while a couple of runs scored for Minnesota Crookston, they still have a long way to go with 3 outs remaining. Two and one, Queso finds the zone against Sen. End of the previous inning was a little bit chaotic. Tampa had a sacrifice fly after there was an incredible catch in left field by Bushbaum. There's out number one, easy run into the outfield there for Saladino, one away. Bushbaum made a great catch, and even though one run came home in the sacrifice play, Tampa also sent Graham home, and he was out at the plate in a double play. One away now, and that brings up Americo Scalati. Strike one. One and one, missing away. Foul back, 2 strikes now to Scalati. 3 strikeouts, but then an RBI double. So mixed results for Scalati so far. Fly ball, carrying, and caught in right field. McCaffrey just stayed under it. 2 outs now, and Queso needs one more to close the door on the 14th Spartan win of the season.
Can we talk about the catch made in the previous inning? The third
what
out.
What a play, though. Yeah, no, second out.
Second
they eventually
out.
got the double play.
Yeah.
But he made a leaping grab in the warning track. I thought for sure that was dropping for a triple.
And he was running backwards, which makes it even more harder
Yeah.
to even see the ball.
What a play. Maybe even a top 10 contender.
Yeah,
potentially.
definitely.
And you got to feel for Saladino, just compounding his batted ball luck as the count goes 2-0.
Yeah, I don't
Those
think...
are the types of plays that usually would be hits. By that time, he gets robbed thanks to great defense.
I don't think anyone did anything wrong on that play.
2-1 as that's taken outside. Three and one missing again. Ball 4. Wenzloff gets aboard for his 4th walk of the game. I might need to check if that's a record for Minnesota Crookston. Great plate discipline today from the first baseman. Ball one taken up high. And trying to see, I don't see, single game records.
What are you looking for, Taylor?
Walks. And while good news for Wenzloff, he now has the second most in program history, trailing behind Dalton Parks. His game against Clearwater Christian in 2015 saw him get on board with 5 walks. But with 4 walks today, Wenzloff joins the leaderboard as the second player to ever have 4 walks in a game for the Golden Eagles.
Okay, that shows patience.
Runner goes as that's flared down the right field line. Still 2 strikes and 2 away. By the way, joining him on the leaderboard is Dykhoff with 3 walks today. He is tied with a ton of other former Golden Eagles players. Not sure if the record book has been updated since. Actually, no, it has been updated since 2021. And all the records are since 2000, as that's going to still be 1 and 2. Hit up the middle. Quesos flip to first, will retire the side and secure the win for the Spartans. Minnesota Crookston had a great 8th inning, but in reality, it was just a big Spartan win from the start. 7 runs in the first, 11 runs by the third, a 38 and a third scoreless inning streak coming to a close. Dominance from the Spartans here on Monday night under the lights at the University of Tampa. The win goes to Ryan Stefuk, who entered the game in the 4th inning to relieve Satin after a very nice start. And while there were some mixed results from the bullpen, Tampa ended up on top with the victory. Tough defeat for Minnesota Crookston. They now fall to 5-5 on the season. Just a tricky day after a slow start. But the offense showed a lot of resilience late in the game, and they also had great outings from Rowers and Mathiasen from the bullpen. Minnesota Crookston will continue their Florida trip on Thursday against Northwood University. Thanks for joining us all weekend, Minnesota Crookston here at UTampa. Hope to see you soon. And for UTampa, they begin a long road trip against Cal State San Marcos this weekend. I'm Taylor Sorthy for Raj and Alex. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on the 21st for baseball. But stay tuned all week long. Tomorrow night, Jack Ike and DeCarlo DeVoe will cover the women's basketball quarterfinals of the Sunshine State Conference Tournament. You won't want to miss it. If you're a student, make sure you head down to the Bob Martinez Center.